Hello, it's Will again with another video. How you doing? Hi, here I am, doing another video. Today we're going to be talking about my Mounjaro update. So, we are currently 18 shots in 16 weeks, because we changed the schedule a little bit. Last video where I talked about this, I talked about reducing it from 7 days down to 5. Haven't done 5, done 6. So I'm doing a shot every 6 days, which is working out for me, working out pretty well. The Mounjaro levels are pretty consistent. I wanted to say I had no side effects so far, had a little bit today, but I think that might have just been from a little more fiber than I think I'm used to. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a few numbers down here. So in the last 6 shots, I lost 6.2 kilograms. Huzzah! Very good. Additional bit of weight loss there. Pretty happy about that. That is now a total of 22.2 kilograms. That's a lot, okay? We are 16 weeks and 3 days. My first dose was June 6th, okay? So 16 weeks. Over, you could say 4 months now. And yeah, I've lost that much. Current weight's 151.1 kilograms. So a big drop, I would say, from last time. Last time we spoke, I was like 157, I think. So yeah, pretty happy with it. Huge fan of how it's been treating me. I've been getting to a really good regular flow with it. Life has been challenging, but still Mounjaro has been present and been keeping me going down in kind of a healthy trajectory. I guess there were a few non-scale victories, or NSV, as the subreddit likes to share. And some of those for me have looked like I had a coat that I wore in college, which for me now is 12 plus years ago, and I can wear it. Okay, so for context, started out as a 4XL, almost pushing 5XL at the start of attempting to lose weight. That coat's a 2XL. So for me, that's huge. That's massive. That's loads of weight. In a weird way, I almost feel like the actual weight I've lost isn't actually a representation of how my body's redistributed. So the loss rate has kind of slowed down a bit, which makes sense, right? I have less to lose now that I've lost a substantial amount. But still a fantastic loss rate, I would say. Very happy with this continued rate of loss, and I will not be changing my dose. I am still on 2.5 milligrams, as I was in the last video, and I am drawing that from a 5 milligram pen. I just drew a little line on the halfway mark at the right amount of clicks, and I'm still doing it that amount, and the amount's built up a little more in me of Mounjaro over time, and it's been pretty good. I still have significant hunger suppression. I would maybe say the hunger suppression is not as intense as it might have been historically. I noticed myself eating a little more, tiny bit more here and there, but also I've had days where I've eaten a lot less. So it seems to kind of ebb and flow for me. Sometimes there's a lot of hunger suppression, sometimes there's not a lot, but also I guess I'm currently fortunate enough to be in a situation where my meals are quite regulated and quite structured, and I'm kind of a creature of habit, if I'm honest. So I'm having 2 meals a day with a protein shake. That's my routine. I had a few days where I only had 1 meal because I was really busy, but yeah, it's really cool. Also, I guess some other non-scale victories I'd like to touch on is in this past 6 shots for me. I've really taken a bit of a change in how I've done my exercise, my workout stuff, and I've been a bit braver and gone over to like bench pressing now, and trying to increase the weights that I'm using in the gym. So I've also seen a sizable increase in strength because of like new routines that I've been putting in that have really helped me push to new strength heights, and it's going well. I'm really trying to like mitigate a lot of the kind of strength loss that I see a lot of people talk about with Mounjaro. And I guess my wife's positively remarking on the change in my physique, that my midsection is kind of coming in a bit more, and my shoulders are actually quite a bit bonier and pointier and a bit more muscular because I've been increasing the strength. Also happy to report that I feel like my man boobs have gotten a little smaller. So the man boobs, you probably can't see them too well on camera, but they historically were a lot more pronounced. And all the working out, I think, is helping with that. The weight loss is also helping with that. I think I have a lot of energy. I think something I'm really noticing in these past 6 shots is while the scales are still going down, you know, I'm getting to a point where like my energy's really starting to kind of creep up and hit like a critical mass. I'm kind of like, I want to go, I want to move, I want to do. It's helping me engage with life way more physically. And even when I spoke last time, I'm going out, I'm like walking around everywhere. You know, last time I spoke to you guys, I went to Prague and I did like a half marathon of walking, which is great. And now like I feel I just want to wander around even more, exploring new angles of familiar areas that I haven't before. I'm feeling more adventurous. And I think that really reflects, I think, in how I'm like just processing a lot of information in life. I'm trying to like learn different things about the world at the moment. I've got, you know, a job lined up now. I had 3 job offers, got a job locked in, super relieved about that, and I'm just feeling really positive on my individual front. Stuff's happening around me that's like stressful and challenging. That isn't explicitly my stuff, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I feel in my body physically, I'm like really good to go. I'm good to move. I want to be in motion. I went on a treadmill and I ran for 6 minutes 20 seconds. And when you are like a guy that's like almost 30 stone, and you get to the point where you can run on a treadmill. It was a jog. It was 7 kilometers an hour with a 0.5 incline, okay? It wasn't anything crazy, but I did that. I ran, and I didn't want to die afterwards. So that's great. That's huge. Really happy about that. It's literally got me to the point now where I'm like, how do I do more physical exercise? How do I fit more physical exercise into my day? Because I just like want to move. I want to be in motion. And this new job hopefully will facilitate some of the motion I want to be in. If not, maybe I'll just end up randomly doing full body or like body weight squats and just wherever I am, just to keep in motion and keep my blood pumping, because I'm really enjoying being active. I was with like a buddy of mine who's a lot more physically fit than me, and we went up a hill that I've gone up, you know, in most parts of my life, in a lot of points in my life, not when I was like 30 stone, but you know, around parts. And like I walked up the hill, and for the first time I walked up the hill and I hadn't been absurdly exhausted, right? Like, yeah, my heart rate was elevated a bit, but like I went up and I was like, okay, you know? Yeah, I was like breathing heavily, but like I was still talking to my friend up the hill. And that hill's got a really big kind of significance to me. There's a lot of my history attached to it. A lot of my family stuff comes from there. Grins Hill in Shropshire, shout out to Grins Hill in Shropshire. My granddad used to live around there and go up that hill all his life, and he's not with us anymore, unfortunately. But it really feels like I'm like reconnecting with my roots by being able to like really walk up that path and feel like I can enjoy it a bit more instead of it being kind of something daunting. It's helping me feel, I don't know, like less self-conscious in a lot of situations. Like I just like fit into spaces in a more normal way now. I also trimmed my beard, as you can see, which has, I think, made my face look a little slimmer again. So I think it adds to that kind of weight loss that's been happening for me. But like, while the weight loss has been consistent and steady in this period of the additional 6 shots, I'm feeling like a lot of like non-scale victories have been happening, a lot of more energy, a lot more running, a lot more being in the world and being excited to be in the world. You know, last time I also spoke about the hikes of prices and everything like that, and that did happen, and I'm a bit bummed about it, but I did manage to get a bunch of 5mg pens prior to the price hike, and actually the price hikes for my specific doses weren't crazy, and I think I'm going to continue with it when I run out of all the pens I have. I'm coming to the end of my first 5mg pen, and I'm looking forward to continuing the Mounjaro journey. Little goals I've got for myself, like doing a push-up. I'm really excited to be able to do a push-up. I'm literally doing bench presses just so I can train myself to do push-ups. Because it's something I've always wanted to do physically. I've always wanted to be able to go, you know, bam, I'm going to like do a push-up. And I've not been able to do that historically because I've been a big boy that does not have the strength to do that. So feeling really positive about Mounjaro. Still getting some don't you dare feedback if you eat the wrong stuff, but nowhere near as aggressive as it was in the start for sure. Manageable, definitely. And still pain enough to be like, oh yeah, shouldn't eat that. Well, maybe don't eat a pile of leaves that's just pure fiber, like balance that out. Also been really focusing on my protein macros to keep the muscle building happening, to keep myself feeling strong and being able to kind of build the strength I want. So I've been hitting like between 100 and 150 grams of protein a day, which I think is enough, barely, honestly, for my height. I feel like I should be pushing more towards 200 grams of protein a day. That's really what I've heard from a lot of people I've talked to about this, and some of the science I've been kind of reading about this. But I think 100 to 150 is enough to keep me moving in the direction I want to. So, yeah, that's me on Mounjaro so far. Thank you for watching. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. Take care of yourself. If you're on the Mounjaro journey too, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you've got any thoughts, questions, beam them down the bottom. Happy to talk about it. This stuff's really interesting to me. And if you're on Mounjaro, good luck, my friend. However it goes, you're going to learn a lot about your body, okay? So, yeah. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. I'm going to shoot. But good luck with whatever you're doing, whatever you're about. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.